Are you tired of misplacing blocks onto your ship? Now, for Pete's sake, or getting the wrong rotation all the time? Oh no, having to get new resources already? I just got a bunch. Being disappointed you can't place a nice blueprint. Really? That is a lot of horse apples. Or even die of drowning. Alright, that's it. Then seek no further and watch this video on building a ship in the Ylands editor. Was that too much? Anyways, for today I'll show you my experience on how to build a ship in the editor, which I'll share you some tips and tricks using some new tools and how to solve a problem that can happen when saving your ship as a blueprint. If you've missed part 1 and 2 on the editor, then I recommend you to click on the link on top. In these videos I've showed the most of the basic things in order to make blueprints in the editor. Now some of you might say, why don't you use the builder tool in adventure mode? Well, that is because the editor have a lot more power to make some nice builds. Now first things first, let me just remove this stop sign that I have been using in the intro. And what comes first? Well, back in the days, for placing a ship you had to add water to the editor, then place the ship, then remove the water. But apparently the developer woke up at night and said, yes, I have a brilliant idea. Which basically means you can now just go to the entities, then go to ships, ship parts, and then just take anything you like. In this case, I'm just going to place this guy right down here. And so you have placed your ship. There is no moving water, you cannot die, and anything else. Now, of course, the next thing to do is build something on the ship. I'm just going to drop down some parts and pieces because I'm going to need to show you how you can do certain things. So let's pretend this is what we want on our ship, but this is a little too off from what we want. We want to select everything and move it up just a tiny bit. So click in an empty field, make a drag selection box, and let's move the blocks, and the ship is moving with it. Now in this case, there is a very handy tool in order to only have the blocks and not the ship. You could say, let's hold Ctrl, left click on the ship, but it will also unselect our blocks. In this case, we're going to make use of a new tool called 3D selection. In this case, let's click in an empty field, make a drag selection box, make sure you got everything. So let's drag it here, place it down, move it up so everything is within. Press enter to confirm, and in this case, if we hold Ctrl and now click on our ship, you see the ship is unselected except for the blocks that we want to keep. And now we can safely move the blocks on our ship. Now of course, if you need to move just one block, you can click on one block without having to use this tool, and you can just move stuff. Of course, if you hold Ctrl and then you can select multiply. But what if your ship is like a gigantic build? You don't want to manually select everything, so that's why the 3D selection tool. Now let's pretend that this is our crazy end result, a frying pan ship, and we would like to save this into a blueprint. We will get a problem, but I'm also going to show you how to solve it, and or I'm going to show you what exactly is happening. So in this case, this is the wrong example. I'm going to select all, then save as a blueprint, click on next, and it says vehicles and other blocks cannot be captured together in one blueprint. Or to show you a better way of that, if I place one block here and one block here, then it means that this block is a part of the ship and this block is a separate part. And by the way, this ship down here is to show you that if I click on the hull and I move it, that everything is within. This is how you can see that it's safe for a blueprint. If I click on this ship down here and I move it, you can see that this stuff is not added to the ship. So in this case, select everything, always make a copy with Ctrl D, move it off-site, then unselect and make sure you only select the ship's hull and move it off-site so you got a good view of what still need to be added. Unselect, select everything that needs to be added, press Ctrl X to just cut it for a second, because we're going to need to put that exactly onto the ship's hull. So I'm just gonna go right down here, move my mouse on the ship's hull. You can see it says ship, so I can exactly put it right on there. Ctrl V, and now it is onto the ship. Just going to zoom out. So the thing here is, you might need to put it in place first. But before doing that, I would recommend to first check if everything is alright. So in this case, click on the ship's hull, zoom out and move it. As you can now see, it is within the ship. So in this case, I could do Ctrl Z to undo those steps until right down here. And the only thing that is left to do is move it perfectly in place. Yes, this might be a little bit of messing around, but this is how you solve the problem. Now make sure you check everything out if it's placed the correct way. After doing that, select everything again, then save as blueprint, click on next, and then it is done. You can save your ship safely. Now you might have seen that I got a bonus for you guys. I was forgotten to explain that at the beginning, but here we go. In part 2, I showed you how to randomize certain blocks, and then Johassendon came up with a tip. So once we select a block, then go to the 3 dots over here. Then it says random placement, and I wish I have opened my eyes earlier. So we're going to randomize it on all axis rotation, click on close. And once we place this, you can see it will all be automatically randomized. Holy moly. Thank you so much for this tip. It really helps. Now, if you guys have some more tips, then let me and other people know down below in the comment section, because that will be very helpful. Even if you do a different way of making ships, anything is welcome. And then in the next video, I am going to show you how you can make your whole own island with trees, bushes, rocks, and whatever not.